Hello ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host AirsoftAL, and today I want to talk about the Armory and kind of give you guys an update for 2019. I know I haven't done an Armory update in a while, sorry about that, but let's go ahead and talk about the guns I have recently gotten in my collection and guns that are currently in pieces and might need your help to actually fix. So, let's go ahead and talk about the first one, which is my baby, my personal baby, the one I put so much love and effort into. That is, of course, my Sweet 16. This is, of course, my SEMA M16A1, but it is fully just decked out with Magpul, PTS, internal upgrades, all the fixins you can have. It is such a good gun, and I absolutely love it. And it is far from being done, because I have one more piece of equipment that's going to be going on here, which, of course, is a replica of a Colt scope. Which would have been on the Car 15 for the McAfee SOG. Really cool stuff, actually, and that's probably going to be the final piece, maybe, that's going to be going on here. That's a total lie. There's going to be more pieces going on here, but you never know. Well, with me, anyway, because I'm kind of all over the place when it comes to certain things, and coherency, apparently, according to some people. Either way, though, the next AR-15 in my collection is, of course, one that everyone knows and loves, but yet I have not taken on the field yet, which is going to be remedied, hopefully enough in March. That is, of course, the bitch. The bitch, of course, is my, once again, fully upgraded G&G combat machine Femme Fatale M4, which is oh so lovely. It has direct wire connections. It has a high-speed motor up in there. It's got a tight bore inner barrel, extend all the way out here because this is where the suppressor comes into play, because if I didn't have the suppressor here, the barrel would be exposed. And stock hop-up, because the hop-up in this thing is actually really damn good, and I do not want to, yeah. But either way, internally speaking, the only thing that is still stock is, of course, the hop-up, and I absolutely love this thing. But the next AR-15 in my collection is the Assault Carbine. Okay, joking aside, this, of course, is the G&G Combat Machine M4. This was a trade-in where I actually traded my Fab Arms STF-12 spring tri-shot shotgun for this little bad boy, and well, it's kind of turned into a project gun, sort of. It's going to have numerous amounts of upgrades. It's going to have PTS Magpul stuff on it, but in its current state, it is the Assault Carbine from Fallout New Vegas, and I absolutely love it. I have, of course, an SKS/AK/Soviet Union style sling on it, because why not? Still love it, though. Still great, still compact, just absolute beast of a gun. Moving on. The next gun in my collection, which is sort of AR-15-ish, is one that was actually donated to me by a fan and a viewer of the channel. That is, of course, the JG Star Dragon. The JG Star Dragon is a very expensive gun. Actually pretty expensive, of it being under $180. It is an AEG, it is a CQB powerhouse stock, and would I ever upgrade it? Hell no, because the thing is actually pretty damn accurate. While, yes, it does lack Picatinny rails, it is, in fact, a concept gun from Ghost in the Shell, the original movie, and, well, the original anime movie, and I just love this. Like, I seriously do. I am in love with this thing. I would never give it up. It is just so good. The Scar flash hider is, of course, my own little addition onto it, because, well, I didn't want to have exposed threading there, so I just threw it on there for good measure. It will see combat one day, but I've got to get a battery, a LiPo small enough to fit up in here, because on a LiPo, this thing is amazing. It's comfortable, it's great, it's accurate. I will use it one day, I can assure you, but until I get a battery that fits in this thing, it will have to be a wait-and-see moment. Moving on. The next AR-style gun in my collection is the IWI X95. This is a little AEG that has actually been refurbished by a guy on eBay that is known as Manstore Inc., and it's refurbished to take a LiPo. Yes, you heard correctly, take a LiPo. And this thing has been upgraded with a extended inner barrel, a redneck flat top, and can, in fact, take AR mags, which I actually do like. It's very good, very snappy, takes a LiPo like a champ. It is absolutely really good. Check my review on that if you haven't seen it already. This thing retails for about 40 bucks online on eBay, free shipping included, and I would recommend you guys grab one of these if you want to have a cheap little gun to actually HPA or even upgrade yourself, or something for your kid who wants an AEG but doesn't exactly but you don't exactly have the money to buy him one of the more expensive ones. This is a good starter gun and a great entry level into airsoft, and great for projects in general. Highly recommend it. Well, what am I saying? Go get one, damn it. Anyway, moving on. Moving away from, of course, the AR-15 style guns, we then, of course, move on to another AR-15 style gun. I joke with you guys, yes. But the next gun in, of course, my collection is an M4. Yes, I know you're groaning, going like, "Ugh, M4s." I swear to God, it's not going to be an M4 for long. Next in the collection is an Elite Force M4 CQB Gen 7, Gen what have you. Literally, this is the newest iteration of this thing, which is kind of ridiculous. It's $175 plus taxes, and, well, I won this in a raffle. Well, two of these, actually. I won two of these in a giveaway, an Evite giveaway. I've got it outfitted right now for it to be a loaner gun. It is direct wire, MOSFET, what have you, all that good jazz. Basically ETU, don't care. But this gun will not remain an M4 for long, because this gun is in fact the base gun for my Magpul PTS LMG project, which will be talked about a little bit more in detail in another video. So yeah, definitely look forward to the review of this in its stock configuration, but do know that it's going to change when I actually do turn this into my baby. The beast gun that is going to, well, rule them all, in a weird sense. The additions I've actually done to this is, of course, add a fully ambidextrous mag release, so that way, if I'm down in the dirt and I have to, I can completely grab a mag, put it in there, and just go from there. Either way, though, moving on to finally, not another AR, well, not an M4, but indeed an AR-15 from the guns behind me. So, moving on from there, we move on to another bullpup, which of course is my Type 97, well, not 97, but 95 Springer. This is actually a really cool oddity in a sense. This is made by a company called Crossfire, or at least I believe Crossfire, not sure, but it is a full bullpup Springer, has its own proprietary magazine, which if they had done a 97 Springer that can accept AEG magazines, that would be amazing. Has its own hop-up, which I'm going to get in here and actually do another upgrade to actually fix the hop, because it is just over-hopping BBs now, insanely so, .2s, they're just over-hopping now. I'm going to have to use .25s in this thing. Has a safety back here, which is very snappy, and I've actually upgraded it to where it has better spring. Sad part is it doesn't have a rail on here yet, but I'm going to modify that a bit to where it does have at least a rail for optics. Say that, but don't hold me to that. We're going to have to wait and see. Either way, though, this is a fun little gun. It's very comfy. It's just all around a cool little plinkster, and it's actually affordable, which is insane to think about, that we have another affordable, actually really good quality Springer bullpup that can be turned to a sniper. Well, bullpup sniper anyway. It's really nice, very good, but moving on. Next up on the list is, of course, my CO2 rifle. This is a, well, not really a rifle, but a carbine. Well, I wouldn't even consider it a carbine, I consider it a rifle. It is a 357 rifle known as the Herd Wolf. It is 6mm revolver and can be converted into a ton of different configurations, which is very nice. It's very, very powerful, very good. Has a somewhat long inner barrel, not long enough to my liking, but we'll fix that in the future. However, the sad part is that during shipping, this bit right here broke, which allows it to wobble a bit. Don't worry, I'm hoping to actually get a replacement barrel on this thing so I can actually put it on there, put this over it, and all that good jazz, and actually go for it. The coolest feature about this has to be that it has a laser, which is really cool. I don't know if you can actually see the laser, but it's got a laser, which is very nice, and you can actually eject the laser to actually change out the batteries. Has fiber optic sights, very good, double action for all those quick follow-up shots, and very nice. It's really good, really awesome. I do have it converted sometimes to be a snub-nose revolver sometimes, but again, we'll talk about that more in the future when we actually review this gun. So, moving on, the next gun in my collection is one that was an interesting project, to say the least, and one that I will be using on the field whenever we have Springer games. The Well/Deepfire M16, my attempt at making a service rifle almost. This was a fun little attempt that actually went awry. and it was just, yeah, not that great. I might actually have a friend of mine who paints actually redo the my handiwork on this. It's not that great, but you know what? From a distance, it kind of looks like a service rifle almost, or at least a version of the AR-15, at least, or an AR-10, more or less. But it's actually good. I've upgraded to have a more stronger spring, and I am hoping to get more of these magazines in very soon so I can actually rock this in the battle and have a ton of fun. So, moving on from that, we then come to, of course, a project gun that I'm hoping to get off the ground very soon, with your help, of course. It is the AK-12 by JG, if you're looking up and saying, oh, it's made by Well. No, it is marketed by Well and distributed by UK Arms. It's a weird backdoor deal that they've got with JG, but again, go watch my review on this to actually find out the full details of the story. Either way, though, this, of course, accepts all AK parts. I am hoping to replace it with a full metal hop-up unit, flat hop, Type 4 inner barrel, and replace the front end here with a threaded barrel, with a front sight which has a threaded barrel to put on all my threaded barrel accessories, what have you. It's very good. Acts like the real AK-12, where the first click is semi-automatic and the second click is full auto, kind of replicating an AR-15. But the coolest feature about this gun that I honestly love is that, well, one, it accepts standard AEG magazines, AK, which means I can use mid-caps with this bad boy. Second, the connectors for the actual wires are here, meaning if you have a malfunction with the battery, you can quickly disconnect it and keep it from overheating, overburning, or doing any other damage from the actual battery, causing a malfunction. And since it uses a standard Gen 3 gearbox, or version 3 gearbox, you can actually replace the gearbox with a standard full metal version 3 gearbox. Why you would is completely up to you. I personally want to keep the stock gearbox until it finally gives out. Again, personal preference. But either way, it's nice, it's great, it reaches out and touches a guy, and with the upgrades I'll be doing to this thing, it will hopefully perform so much better. Moving on. Moving on to the next AK in my collection. This one was actually given to me by Tony, aka Apex, my business partner and financial backer of the channel, who actually runs the channel's finances. It is the Classic Army AK. This one is actually discontinued on Evike, which is sad, really. But this nice little bad boy right here is one that I am hoping to actually fix, because for some reason it has feeding issue in the hop-up area. I don't know why, and I don't know if it's a standard issue, but it definitely is. But it may be because it takes Classic Army AK mags or something along that line, but I don't know. Either way, though. It does take standard magazines. It can take a variety of AK mags. It's actually really good. I do have to get up in here, though, and actually rework a few things, because some things may be out of place. I'm not sure. I'm just going to look and see. But it's very snappy. Has a MOSFET in there. You can actually hear the ETU in there every time I do this. Very nice. It is really good. It's wired to Deans, of course, so you have more power, what have you. Full metal all the way around. It's just a nice little gun. And something for all contractor loadouts if you want an AK that's a little bit more contractory than anything else. Either way, though. Moving on. Another nice little project gun of mine that actually worked out fairly well, and you may have seen the takedown/mod guide for it, is, of course, the CM22 by SEMA. This, of course, was modified to have a better rail. I actually put an extended rail on here so I can have a run cam and an optic on this bad boy. It is really good, although the rail is a little crooked because, well, I didn't measure exactly right, but you know what? As long as I can keep on target and you can actually see where the BBs are going, it's really nice. It's a good starter gun, and I said in the review, it's a great starter gun for $50, and in the takedown mod guide, we can actually see that it can be upgraded, since it does take a standard hop-up unit, and it does use a standard hop-up style barrel, so it can be upgraded. Well, yes, the magazines are a pain in the ass to find, and all that good jazz. It doesn't mean that it's not terribly too hard to use. And yes, it does use a proprietary battery, but but if you're a skilled technician, you could replace that for Tamiyas, more or less, or rewire it for Tamiyas. Again, this is a great, just like the Umarex X95, this is a great project gun for whatever you might want to do with it. So, yeah. It's just how it is. Moving on. Blast from the past, and something you may see on Nostalgia Critic from time to time. It is my cyber gun Thompson M1A. This little bad boy here is actually old. Like, legitimately, it's old. 9 years old, or 11 years old to be exact, because this thing came out in 2008. Yes, 2008, which means this gun here is roughly 11 years old. And the fact that it's still working and even sometimes will accept standard Thompson magazines, sometimes, mind you, it's a little iffy on the feeding issues, but it can accept all the upgrades you can internally. Will I upgrade this thing internally? No, that's for the other Thompson behind me. But this is a classic vintage Thompson that I might not take on the field every so often, but if I do, it's probably going to be for backyard skirmishes or for when I actually want to make sure the thing actually still works. It's a part of airsoft history that I'm actually happy I have and probably won't give up anytime soon. But we'll see about that. The next gun, however, is a little bit more fun, so to speak. The next gun in my collection is a Thompson also, but it is the King Arms Thompson, which I got from my buddy who used to work at Cybergun, who basically was able to send this out to me thanks to him and a buddy in a warehouse basically being able to sneak stuff past. Because this was during a time when Cybergun was sort of, when they were kind of reorganizing, so to speak, i.e. layoffs. But either way, it's a full metal polymer, hoping to get real wood soon. Uses, of course, the full metal magazine. I've got the drum for it, so I can actually use the drum on this thing, so I can make it look like the Assault SMG from New Vegas, which, if I do get the Chicago typewriter, I am going to replace the front grip with this grip on there, so that way I can actually use it like the Assault Thompson, like the 45 SMG from Fallout New Vegas' DLC, Lonesome Roads, or was it Lonely Hearts? I can't remember. Either way, though. Still a nice gun, still beautiful, I love it, and I would never do anything to tarnish it. Like at all. And yes, I know a lot of you have been requesting me to review the Double Eagle one, as well as many of you requested me to review the Game Face one. I will get to that in the future, but that's where you guys come in to help me with that little dilemma. Anyway, moving on. When I want to go simple and I want to have fun, I pull out the pump rifle. This is, of course, the Game Face pump rifle. It's fun, it's great, it's just fun. Like, I've upgraded, of course, to where it actually has a better spring, better hop-up. It's all around been improved to be a pump rifle. In every sense of the word, it's a pump rifle. All I gotta do is put a nice magnified scope on this thing, and I can actually, well, fire it. I might take this out one day and run with it, but we'll have to wait and see. Anyway, the next gun is, of course, another pump rifle, but one that has significant meaning. That is this one right here. This little pump rifle actually belonged to Apex's, a family member of Apex who's no longer with us. I do have a picture of it, but I'm not going to show it on here because I think that would be distasteful to actually show a picture of a dead relative, at least in my mind. This, of course, is a pump rifle. It is a Mossberg 590. Clear, and is actually great to use to show example of how springers work. It accepts the magazine here, and, well, all around, it's a nice little pump rifle. It really is. And the fact that this actually belonged to a family member of Apex makes it even that more special, and I am going to review it one day. I promise you that. It does have a hop-up. It's just all around good. Moving on. Now that we've covered, well, everything in terms of rifle. Oh no, wait, I haven't covered everything. There's 2 more guns, well, technically 3, but that's a kit, that I haven't covered yet. Those being Umarex USA MP7 AEG. This is a nice little MP7 AEG, and with the recent mod guide that I did, or that you have not seen yet, I found out that yes and no, it can be upgraded. No, it can't be upgraded because of a lot of proprietary parts, but still a lot of cool stuff that could be done inside of it. But at least it accepts standard AEG magazines that work with Tokyo Marui. So I might try to see if I can't have some. I might try to see if we can't get a Tokyo Marui MP7 or even a Well MP7 into my collection anytime in the near future. But we'll have to wait and see. Either way, though, the next little AEP is one that I'm actually tempted to see if it can be upgraded or if something can be done with it. That is the RJ9, or the Umarex USA MP9 AEP. This is, of course, a AA battery-powered little submachine gun. It is a full 1-to-1 replica with the actual AEG. It's fixed hop-up. but the way it's designed internally could possibly be modified to actually use, well, actual LiPos, or even standard batteries. In terms of IMRs, and grant IMRs, it depends on how things work out. Could IMRs actually work in this? I'm not sure, because I haven't really gotten them and I haven't really tested it out yet. But, in terms of everything else, it's a nice little gun. It's great, it's beautiful, it's just an all-around fun little CQB machine pistol that you can actually use. And you can actually grab more of these and even find mid-caps. I believe you can find mid-caps of the MP9 AEP magazines. Don't hold me to that. But even then, it's still a fun little gun and has a lot of cool little features. Go check out my review on it if you haven't already. Anyway, the next little machine pistol kit that we actually have is in fact a kit, and one that I would not mind actually trying out with a few gas blowbacks when I get them into my collection. That is the Umarex TAC kit. The TAC kit is 1-to-1 polymer. It's not based on any real steel kit and actually works with all airsoft and BB guns. That's right, BB guns. And the cool part is it does work with gas blowback pistols. However, for some reason it's only right-handed only in terms of the actual port here, not full ambidextrous. But then again, it works with a variety of all HK Umarex pistols, including a pistol you're going to be seeing in this video today, or at least the video you're watching. It's under $40. It works with a variety of pistols, including most HK and even one that looks similar to a Glock. And from my knowledge and from what I've researched, it does work with M&P pistols, meaning we have a pistol kit for M&P pistols. So when I do get a CO2 full auto capable M&P pistol, I am actually going to probably put up in this bad boy, and I might actually use it. Which is going to be very fun and very interesting if you ask me. But it does have a threaded barrel for your suppressor. As to what suppressor fits on here, I am curious to find out. Please do let me know in the comment section down below, ladies and gentlemen, if you know what suppressor actually works on this. Anyway, moving on. Okay, so do know now that I have a lot of pistols. When I mean a lot, I mean a lot. So let's start off with the smallest portion of it, which of course is my 1911s. Let's start, of course, with a gun that is probably the oldest in the pistol collection. That is the KWC 1911 Stinger P311 from 2005. This is technically the oldest airsoft gun in my collection, and is one that we've all started out with. It's old, it's dirty, it's rickety, but it still holds a pop. And this one is just one that everyone remembers from the Walmart days, from when you would see these in 2-packs or anything of that nature, and it's still kicking. I love this pistol. I probably will rock this pistol one day in an all-Springer game, but we'll wait and see. Moving on from that, we then of course go to a Responder 911. This thing is a 1911, which is interesting. I've been able to modify this to where it has a double spring mod, so it has a little bit more pop for its buck, and the magazine itself is a UTG magazine, so it can be used in all UTG style airsoft 1911s, as well as the SOCOM 1911 from Evike, which is basically Double Eagle 1911. But this thing does pack a powerful punch, and while yes, the return is very good, well, it is pretty loud, and still a fun little 1911. But aside from that, we then move on to a copycat from, once again, Crossman. It is, of course, a copied 1911 from KWC. Well, not really KWC, this is a knockoff KWC 1911, but still holds everything else, and is actually louder than the 2005, but granted, the 2005, the spring has been worn down, and, well, it's pretty old, to say the least. Aside from that, the only real remarkable thing is that's like $15, $20 for this little thing, so it's how it is. Now, I've got a lot of Springer 1911s, so please do bear with me. Now, the other 1911 is, of course, this right here, which is from SOCOM, Double Eagle. Now, the Double Eagle 1911 is a very well-known one and has been rebranded by everyone and their mother. However, there's a reason it's really good. It's because this 1911 can, in fact, be upgraded with a variety of springs if you know how to do it. It's great. It's actually really not that bad, and you can actually see up in there, making it an open breech 1911. It's very realistic, and you can't, well, it's just good. It uses UTG-style magazines, so you can actually buy these and use them and even crisscross them with other 1911s. It's good, it's great. It doesn't have the greatest sights, but then again, you aren't using the sights. It's more of a, oh shit, someone's right there, and I have to pull it out and fire. It's how it is. Now, moving on from this 1911 to another 1911, one that I know a lot of you probably never seen before. It's rather interesting, to say the least. And from UFC. No, not UFC. It's not UFC. It's HFC. I'm sorry, I don't know where I got UFC from. Probably was thinking of MMA for some reason. I don't know why. But it is a non-blowback, propane-powered 1911 with a Tokyo Marui-inspired stick mag from the Springer. Which, speaking of the Springer, it's actually right here on the chair. I'm not going to use that anytime soon, but it's actually really nice. It's double action and can be used as such. Not the greatest range in the world, but it's pretty good for the price tag it's offering. So if you're looking for a cheap non-blowback 1911 that's powered by a source that is extremely ubiquitous in Walmart and camping stores and all other sporting goods places, then this is definitely one for you if you're on an extreme budget. It's not bad, but it's not great in terms of range either, but to everyone their own. Anyway, moving on from that. Moving upward to higher capacity, we have a custom-built Kai Kappa for me, which was built by Tony, aka Apex, the financial backer of the channel. This thing right here is really nice. It is based off of the Armor Works Wind Velocity 30 Super Comp, which, of course, don't worry, I have the barrel that this came with along with the original inner barrel and all the other stuff on this, so that way I can actually review the stock version. The pistol grip, however, is a little bit different. Not really sure where it's from, but it's definitely there. It's got a ghost ring sight on there, and I know a lot of you were saying, "Where's the front sight? How can you line up a sight?" You're not really using this for long range. You're using it more or less for if someone's within 20 to 15 feet of you. So being able to pull it out of your holster really quickly, drop the safety, and start sending rounds down range to someone is not really need of, oh, let me take a second to aim the sight. It's more of a point and click. Just line up with your nose and just start shooting. You're going to hit the son of a bitch, but you ain't going to take the time to aim down sights. Unless it's a rifle with a red dot, then yeah, no, you can take time to line up your shots. But when it comes to a pistol, it's more of a point and click type situation. Believe me, I've been in enough of those situations on the farm with coyotes and mountain lions and a fucking ton of other critters where I'm not taking my time to aim. I'm going to point and click where I hear the growling and something coming at me. Believe me, it ain't fun, but that's the life of a farmer. Moving on. The next 1911 was actually my very first CO2 gas blowback pistol, and that was the Colt Railgun. The Colt Railgun is very nice, CO2 powered, just beautiful powerhouse of a gun. It's made by KWC and is fully licensed by Colt, or by KWC. It is, of course, sold by Cybergun. It's a beautiful little 1911. I absolutely love it. I love the serrations, I love it all. But the lower I've had to repair several times. And, of course, you're seeing I'm missing a little thing right there. Well, when I get an Elite Force 1911, I am, of course, going to replace this lower with the Elite Force lower. But I am going to keep this because, well, I do love this. I've put a lot of love and effort into the upper here, so I'm not going to get rid of the upper. I am going to get rid of the lower, however, and just take the Magpul grips off here and actually put on the Elite Force lower. But that's just me, however. Either way, though, continuing on from, of course, a love that I absolutely love and cherish to another handgun that is actually really nice. And my second, well, not really second, I do have a good bit of propane guns in my collection, but a second propane gun that is actually really nice, and once again, 1911. Moving on to the Daytonix 45. The Daytonix 45 is a green gas pistol and is a compact little pistol. It actually has hop-up in there. It's really nice, really good, and I absolutely love this thing. It's really great for a concealed carry. And I am actually tempted to, when I get my CCW, or at least my CCL, I am actually going to get a Daytonix 45 as my CCW. For those of you who don't know what acronyms I'm using, CCL is Concealed Carry License, and a CCW is a Concealed Carry Weapon. And considering that I absolutely love 45s, considering, well, not just 45, but also the John Browning design of handguns, God praise Gun Jesus for bringing us his word. A 1911, very nice. Heard nothing but good things from the Real Steel Daytonix 45, and I'm definitely wanting to get an extended magazine for this, or at least a bigger lower for this, because believe me, it's a compact little bastard. It really is. Either way, though, moving on. Coming to the final 1911, we have my Tokyo Marui 1911 Springer, straight from Japan. And yes, it's great, it's good. If you haven't seen my review yet, which was my 200th upload, I think, or my 100th upload, I believe. This is one of my favorite handguns of all time. It's great, it's good, it's beautiful. It is something that I absolutely love, and that has made me realize why Tokyo Marui is so damn good. Moving on, though. Aside from 1911s, and of course spreading the good word of John Browning, I of course do have revolvers. Two revolvers I do have is the Black Ops Ignite Terminator revolver. This thing is a Dan Weston clone. It uses shells, what have you. It's CO2. It's beautiful. It's great. I absolutely love it. This is a good little handgun for when the cheaters don't want to call their hits. And believe me, I love it. I really do. Either way, though. Moving on, the other revolver I have, I don't know what I was about to say, 1911. The other revolver I actually do have is a UK Arms revolver. One which they almost did good, and one that is burningly question why didn't they do good. They could have done great with this. It was more of a missed opportunity than anything else, and believe me when I say I'm going to be working on this and actually trying to upgrade it a little bit more to be a little better, or at least attempt for it to be better. But let's not hold our breath and see if they actually do try and make this a little better in the future, or if another company will actually make it better in the future. G&G, if you would so kindly. Or at least another company make it better. Either way, though, it's a beautiful little gun. It's a nice little gun, great prop. It's just all around good. Moving on, though. Another cold handgun is, of course, one that was sent in by a viewer, Brian, who sent me a cute, actual Colt automatic. This is based off of a Colt concealed carry pistol. It is, of course, just a great bit of firearms history. This was made around the time when small concealable firearms were really needed for some people. And this was, by all accounts, actually a really reliable, good handgun. Even though it was caliber 25, even though it was chambered in 25 ACP, it still was a very nice, compact little pistol. When I mean compact, I mean I'm holding it with my middle finger, and I'm having a hard time trying to fully hold it with the rest of my hands. It's definitely meant for small. It's definitely meant to be a coat pocket pistol, or even a vest pocket pistol, where if someone was trying to mug you or something, you could pull it out and just fire it like that. It's a cool little pistol that I'm definitely going to have on me, and something that I'm probably going to use for a variety of things. Moving on. Going a little bigger now, and I do mean bigger, we have my Desert Eagle Springer. This is, of course, this is licensed by this is distributed by Cybergun, fully licensed by Magnum Research. It's a Springer that actually has a hop-up. It's adorable. It is undoubtedly adorable, and I'll probably use this in a game. I don't know. I'm going to see if I can't find a rail adapter or something to actually use on this, to actually put Picatinis on here so I can mount a run cam on this. But it's adorable. Let's go with that. It's adorable. Moving on. Say you don't want a Springer Deagle. Say you want a gas blowback Deagle. Well, buddy, have I got a Deagle for you? Little stiff. But, yes, I have a Deagle. It is, of course, the KWC CO2 gas blowback Deagle with full auto capability when you flip it to 20. It's single action, though, but you know what? I don't care. It's a beautiful handgun. It's amazing. It's big. It's bulky. It is nothing if not fun as hell. I'm hoping to get more magazines in for this, as well as try and find extended mags, because I found out from my buddy and the guy who sent this to me, Tony, that they do make extended magazines for this Deagle, and now I fucking want them. As well as a suppressor for this, the Deagle-style suppressor from Boondock Saints 2. I want it. Oh, that's so bad. Moving on. Say you don't like the profile of the Deagle. Say you want something a little bit more German. Well, buddy, have I got a German gun for you. The Mauser M712 by KWC. CO2, full blowback, and insane crazy rates of fire, especially when you fire it. And this one is actually another handgun that I'm going to be doing a little bit of upgrades to by actually putting on real wood grips on this bad boy, Red 9 grips on here, and of course the stock, the shoulder stock / holster for this, so I can actually use it in full auto properly. Because believe me, this thing in full auto is not exactly controllable. be it airsoft or real steel, it is insane the rate of fire, because if you just slowly tap that, it's like a Polar Star engine. It's just like just a blur. And the guy on the receiving end isn't exactly going to see the amount of BBs coming in. It's insane. It really is. But say you don't want a Mauser broom handle, or you know, something this large. You want something more elegant. You want something German but more elegant. Well, I have that too. Mein friends, Hans has gotten me mein Luger. That's right, a KWC Luger. It's CO2, it's beautiful, it's absolutely just amazing, and I love this handgun. I love it, it's great, it's got some good range. It's actually gotten a lot of people out when I've ever used it, and my new holster fits it perfectly. I am, of course, going to remove these polymer grips. I'm going to replace it with good wood grips, great wood grips that will just make it sing and be beautiful whenever I use it. And of course, I'm going to try and find the Luger stock for this bad boy, because I would like to have the Luger stock for it that will make it into a small pistol carbine. Just saying, of course. But either way, say you don't want the Luger though, but you do want something elegant. Well, there is another German pistol in my collection that actually is pretty decent for the price tag. Ladies and gentlemen, the Walther P38. The Walther P38 is, of course, made by either Double Eagle or UK Arms, I can't remember which. It uses a full metal magazine, and it's actually pretty decent. If you check my review on that, you'll see I gave it semi-praise, but not great praise. But the best part is, son of a whore, it can be upgraded with a double spring mod. It is actually pretty decent. It's zinc, full zinc, but not great. But it's decent. Let's go with that. But, say you don't want this, you want something a little better, well, don't worry, I have that in my collection also, because this one is another compact pistol that's actually one used by our good buddy Bond, James Bond. It is, of course, the Walther PPQ. Or PPK, my bad, PPK/S. The Walther PPK/S is a very nice little Springer pistol. We did have a gas blowback one long ago in the airsoft world, but I don't know where it is now. I do believe they had a CO2 one, but not really sure. But it's a very nice little pistol, nice little compact. I know Umarex/Legends makes a gas blowback one that's CO2. I just don't know if it would actually translate very well into airsoft. I probably will, but we'll never know. It comes with a suppressor, but really I'm not going to use the suppressor. I'm just going to use it as is like this, because it's a beautiful little handgun. And this is, in the real steel world, this is another choice for me if I was to actually get a concealed carry pistol. I definitely would like either a Daytime X45 or a Walther PPQ, or PPK. I don't know why I'm saying PPQ. PPK if I was to have a concealed carry. It's nice, it's compact, it's great, it can fit on your person. It's just a beautiful handgun. Moving on though. Continuing on to my more rarer handguns, I have here a KWA Beretta 93R. This is a very beautiful little handgun. It's beautiful, it's great, it has full auto, it is just all around beautiful. In terms of safety, there is no safety. Your finger is literally the safety. And I love it. It's green gas, of course, /propane, so it's going to be interesting. The magazines do leak, but you know what? I might be able to fix those depending on how bad the leaks are. I am wanting to, of course, get the stock that goes on here so I can actually use it like a machine pistol, even though it doesn't have the front grip anymore, but I still want to use it like a machine pistol and actually have that insane rate of fire that it's well known for, although I might actually use it for semi-auto only, but who knows. It's definitely big, definitely hefty, and I absolutely love it. Moving on, though. Moving to non-blowback pistols in my collection, we have the Baby Deagle, the Jericho 941. I gave this a little bit of praise in my review. The magazine, sadly, is leaking a bit, so there is an issue with the mag. Not really sure what it is. I probably just have to take it apart and see what's going on. But it is an all-polymer pistol that's actually really extremely light, but the magazine is where the majority of the weight is, so it's just how it is. You can put wood grips on here if you want. I'm tempted to put wood grips on here, but that's just me. The mag release is actually not really bad. It's in a good place near your middle finger, so that way if you fire and you run out, you can actually hit it, reload, hit that slide release, and just continue firing. Jericho in the real steel world is actually not bad, and honestly, this isn't bad either. It's just needs a better chance, a revamp, or better yet, a fucking gas blowback version. KWC, come on, we need a gas blowback version of this thing. Or Tokyo Marui, somebody, please, make a Jericho 941 gas blowback. Please. Moving on to another gas blowback. Well, not really gas blowback, but a non-blowback. This is the, well, the pistol that actually goes into the Umarex TAC kit. This is the Enforcer, the Combat Zone Enforcer. And for the life of me, I cannot figure out what gun this is based off of. You guys can let me know in the comment section down below. Check and see if there's CO2. Yeah, there's CO2 in there, which means there's probably is CO2 still in here. But it's a nice little pistol. It has some Picatinny rails on there for all your Picatinny needs. It's actually really comfortable, combining the comfortability of a Walther with the weird design of an M&P or even a Glock. It's weird, to say the least. It's like a concept gun where it combines a variety of different guns into one. It's good, it's comfy, it's affordable, it's actually not bad in terms of, well, good guns. Anyway, moving on to another handgun that I actually have. Once again, another non-blowback. This, of course, being the Steyr M9A1, fully licensed by ASG. This is another non-blowback handgun, CO2, and, well, it's interesting to say the least. It's a neat little handgun, neat little design. It's somewhat comfortable, but honestly, I would have preferred a gas blowback version. Yeah, the price tag for this thing's not bad, but again, I probably prefer a gas blowback version. It does come with fiber optics, white dot in the front, and you do acquire targets relatively good. I haven't taken this thing into combat yet, but when I do take it into combat, I will see how good it actually is. Which, come March, we'll see if this thing's actually any good in a pistol round. Moving on to my next non-blowback, of course. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a pistol that we don't exactly have a gas blowback version of, and I'm very sad because the Ruger P345 is actually a .45 caliber handgun that got a bit of a bad rap because the recoil spring wasn't exactly great and they had to be replaced, which is what caused the variety of feeding issues in the real steel world. Once again, it's a non-blowback that uses the standard, well, stick mag that you would see in all non-blowbacks, or not really all non-blowbacks, just a good majority of it. And it's decent. I'm not gonna lie, it's okay, but it does have a variety of issues which comes down to range. It is comfortable though, and it is fully licensed, and Ruger has allowed it to be fully licensed. It is distributed via Umarex USA, and it's not bad. I wish there was a gas blowback version of this because I have actually talked to friends who have actually shot one of these, and they say they are a dream to shoot. I just wish more people would actually talk about this and actually say, hey, could you make a gas blowback version of this? Because it's actually a pretty decent little gun in the real steel world. But then again, that's just my opinion, mind you. Moving on. Another Springer, which is rather interesting, is of course the P85 Springer by Double Eagle. The P85 is a curiosity, to say the least. The P85 was a decent little handgun in the 80s, and that's about it. It's actually a decent little Springer. On the outside, seems like crap, seems like it shouldn't perform very well, but when actually taking it out, doing tests on it, it actually performed fairly well and was actually really decent, which was a huge curiosity to me and kind of made me question what the hell. Check my review on it if you haven't seen it yet. It's good, it's decent, but I probably won't use it. That's just me, though. Moving on to another Springer. This one being a recent addition to my collection, one being a recent review, the HKP30. The HKP30 is based off of the real steel P30, which is actually a pretty good little 9mm concealed carry gun, as well as being used by border guard, police, what have you, blah blah blah. Go check the Wikipedia page. But in the real steel world, and from friends who I've talked to who have actually had an HKP30, many of them use HKP30s because, well, apparently, and according to them, the recoil's good for a 9mm, it's comfortable for a 9mm, and it's an HK pistol. Reliability is up there and really good. And hearing them talk about this actually made me curious and made me want to get an HKP30 now for one of my contenders for a concealed carry or even an open carry. And holding the airsoft version, the grip is actually extremely comfortable. It's actually really good. I'm not going to lie when I say that, it's actually surprisingly good. The pistol itself, though, being $30, I said in my review, no, $25 at the most. Because in reality, everything else about it did not offer that $25 price tag in my mind. and the metal slide makes it a little bit harder for you to actually prime it, but it's still a good little handgun and actually a really nice little springer and a good contender against Tokyo Marui, KWC, and a few others. But that's just me, though, in my opinion. Now, moving on to the final Springer in my collection, or at least Springer pistol. This one I've kept around for the mechanical oddity that it is, because it uses this, which we haven't seen in airsoft, only in BB guns and air rifles. It uses this priming method, which I don't even know how you fire this thing. It's an oddity, it's interesting, and even in my review, I was just mechanically curious about it, because I'm curious how this thing actually operates and works, and want to really get inside this thing and actually open it up and ask, what makes you tick? But that's just me, of course. Either way, though. In terms of guns I actually have in pieces, guns I have in pieces are, and this is sad to me because I actually did only rock it once, but never actually used it. I let another player use it at Op 31. The guns that are in pieces are, of course, my Steyr AUG A2 variant, which is in pieces because the magazine plate, which the magazine goes up into to actually feed BBs into the hop-up chamber to actually be fired through, has broken. It is missing a chunk of plastic on one side, and it is just not great. So I have to get a completely new lower, which is not a big deal because I'm wanting to build an A1 variant with the actual integrated scope. I don't really like the A2 all that much, but that's just my own personal preference. I might actually try and do something in the near future. I don't know. I'm hoping to actually get a A1 lower because I love the OD green. I'm an OD green kind of guy. Next up is my JG AK-74SU, or basically an AK-74 by JG, which was the electronic blowback real wood fucking steel body AK, which was a pre-owned but had a few issues, and the issues finally caught up with it as it just did not want to work anymore. For some reason it just stopped, or something had happened. So in trying to take it apart, I actually found out that, oh yeah, no, the front barrel is completely glued on. So I had to completely take the thing apart, and even the front sight is now broken in pieces, like it just broke. So I'm going to need a new outer barrel, I'm going to need a few other things, but I might actually replace the outer barrel, the actual outer assembly, with an AK, with a full-length AK barrel, so I actually have a folding stock electronic blowback AK. Again, that's my own personal preference and how I want to build it up, but that's just how it is. Anyway. Thank you all for watching. As always, I've been AirsoftAL, and thank you for joining me for this nice little Armory update video for 2019. If you guys actually want to help me out in repairing a few of my guns, well, 2 of my guns that are currently in pieces, or you want to help me out with some projects in the future out of my collection, please do consider donating $1 to our PayPal down below. Or if you happen to have parts and stuff that you want to send in, please do get in contact with me over Facebook, and let's talk. Let's talk shop. Anyway. Thank you all for watching. As always, I've been AirsoftAL, and I will see all you lovely people in the next video. Till next time.